YouTube is not a real job. Or is it? That is actually something I hear a lot. Some people think that YouTube is absolutely not a job and it's just some hobby. Well, for most people, it is. For a large proportion of people, it's just a place where they can post videos, funny things that, they personally enjoy. But for a lot of people, YouTube is a job. Now, YouTube is also used by a lot of media companies. And do you think that is not work? Well, it is. I'm going to go through a few things which will hopefully enlighten you a little bit about what YouTube is. And if you are producing videos that are high quality, then you, of course, have a lot of jobs to do. Now, you see, I do everything myself. I don't have anyone helping me with anything. And I do actually receive a fair number of emails and private messages and things like that asking, do you need an editor? Do you need a thumbnail maker? Do you need such and such, And at the moment, I'm not making enough money to have one of those. So no. I would say that it's something that I'll consider in the future if I'm making a good amount of money on this. But I'll get into the money part later. So first of all, being a YouTuber, you have to wear a lot of hats. Now think of it as doing the work of an entire production company. Yeah. Number one, you're the script writer. You write everything. You write your dialogue, if you do dialogue. You write what happens. You're just writing absolutely everything because you are where the ideas come from. So you are creating everything. Number two, you are the actor or narrator, depending on what kind of content you are doing. In my case, I am, of course, doing, I guess you can call it commentating. It's a game commentating, but depending on the videos or the channel, I'm also kind of the actor. So in a way, I do have to do some acting. That is for my No Man's Sky videos. For Minecraft, it's a gaming commentator, or I'm just a gaming narrator. It's not really narrating, is it? But yeah, you get my drift here. Third, editor, the video editor. And so I do all of my editing. Of course, I use video editor. Sometimes it takes a very long time. And I mean, it can take hours to get a video the way you want it to be. So there is a lot of time involved with editing, as well as recording. Now, going back to the acting and narrating part, you are, of course, recording it yourself. And the thing with this is that you can do a lot of takes and retakes, and it's something that can take a long time to perfect. So it does take quite a while. Fourth, you are the graphic artist. You are making all the thumbnails. You're doing all the work for your channel art. That is a job that people do, and that is one thing that people have requested that I employ them as. But I actually enjoy editing and doing the thumbnails. I really do enjoy doing it myself. Fifth, you're the audio engineer. You are the one who is working on all of the settings for your videos, doing the audio recording. If you're doing things like, let's say, you're not recording your voice while you're recording the video, then you're going to have to record it afterwards and then add it into the video. So you're also working with all of the settings that you want, just perfecting the audio levels and volume and all that stuff. So it's not always easy to do. In fact, in the early days, I had a terrible microphone, and then at one point, my audio was too quiet. But I've got it to the point where I like it. Another thing is you're also adding in the music. You are choosing the music, you are editing it in, and sound effects as well. So on this channel in particular, I don't do any music or sound effects. But on my main channel, I do it a lot. And that is a very important part, I feel. Next, number 6, you are the producer. You're the one in charge. You are the boss. You're providing all of the equipment. You're providing all of the money if needed. In my case, it doesn't exactly cost me money to make a single video because I've got everything I need, right? But sometimes you need to buy some of the equipment that you need. Like, for example, one thing that I recently got was it's an adapter for a micro SD card, so I can attach it to my computer with USB. Why is this? Because my computer doesn't have SD card reader, and I needed it for another channel that I'll be working on. I'm not going to talk about that channel here because it is totally unrelated, and I want it to be separate. Number 7, you're the director. I think this goes without saying. You are laying out the direction of your videos at all times. You are telling yourself, okay, I got to retake that. Or telling yourself, this is how this scene is going to go. You know, that is, I guess you're being a self-director. Now, sometimes you may be working with others, and in that case, you are directing them. But sometimes not. Sometimes when it's a collaborative effort, you are both working on everything together. So there is that. Next, social media manager. Now this is not on YouTube itself, but you are the one who is on social media talking to people. You are not only the actor, you are the person who is communicating with everyone, which also brings me to public relations and dealing with things like comments and emails and all that stuff. So you have to communicate with everyone as needed. And that is very important. Having a connection with the audience, the public, I should say, is very important, and it is a job that you have to do. Now, this is something that I am striving to improve upon this year by addressing a lot of the comments, something that I hadn't been doing that well recently. A lot of it has to do with time as well. Sometimes you may not have as much time as you'd hoped. And speaking of time, let's make this daytime so you can actually see things better. But yeah, that is a very important thing. You want to have a connection with your audience, and a personal connection is always very important and very welcome. Next up is moderator. So not only are you replying to comments and reading the comments, but you've got to moderate your comments section. That means spam or abusive comments, anything that you, any person that you do not want to see in your comments, banning them and muting them and such. That's an important part. And also, you're the person who deals with the sponsors. If you've got a sponsorship or affiliates, you are the person who is talking to these people because, well, you own your YouTube channel. So you are responsible for all of that. And sponsorships can be a very major thing for a lot of YouTubers. In fact, for many YouTubers, as far as earnings go, sponsorships can be bigger than ad revenue. That is really important. Now, moving on to that. Now, depending on the niche, of course, sometimes you are a teacher or educator. If you do tutorials, I do tutorials, so I guess you can say I'm like a teacher of Minecraft. But if you are an English teacher, which I have been, I could make an English teaching channel. Something I have considered and may do so in the future. So that is one thing. Also, consultants. This can include people who are helping others work on improving their own YouTube channel. That does happen quite a lot, actually. And I know some people who do this, and they do fairly well for a living doing that. Sometimes you're a journalist if you run a news channel. Sometimes you're an artist if you do an art channel. Sometimes YouTube is your way of advertising. So that is important. And speaking of advertising, you could be an advertiser. Also, you could be an entertainer. And that is probably where I am right now with Minecraft in particular. Any kind of gaming content is entertainment. So you can consider those people entertainers. And that is a legitimate job. You see a lot of people doing it. A lot of people aspire to do it as well. So there are a lot of jobs you can do as a YouTuber, and those are several examples. And secondly, this is the other part that makes this a job. I get paid for it. So I make an income doing YouTube. I make an income doing Twitch if I would actually stream. I've done one live stream in the last 3 months. I intend to get back to it as well. So that is one thing I really do want to work on. But a lot of people do this for a living, and they make some really good money doing it. But the thing is, to continue making that money, they have to continue working. They have to continue improving what they do. They have to continue innovating. That is really important. You can't keep producing the same old stale content. You have to keep on trying new things, because people get tired of the same thing all the time. So you want to do new things all the time. So on my Space Games channel, I am going to be starting a new game very soon. And this is a fairly popular game that a lot of people love to watch people play because it's a little scary. That is often a fun thing to watch. But as far as my Minecraft channel, I am going to be trying some new types of content. In particular, I've mentioned this before, 100 Days Hardcore. And I'm going to be doing my own take on it. That I do not have the luxury of Elytra or anything from the Nether. I am focusing entirely on the biomes that I'm going to be playing in and trying to survive. Some of the biomes are very difficult, so it's going to be very interesting to see how I do with this. But I only do this part-time, as I do have another job, and it is a little bit seasonal, as it is in education, and when it is holiday time, it's a bit slow. But as I am one of the yearly, I should say, contractors, I'm not a seasonal one, so I'm able to work during the slow times, and there is work still. So even over the holidays, yes, I did some work. There is that. But during the low times, you know what is much more active? YouTube. So when I'm having slow time with my job, I can be a lot more active with YouTube. And more people are watching YouTube at that time as well, which in turn results in more ad revenue. So that is nice. So I do have that to fall back onto. But I do other things. I do some advertising stuff, making some advertising videos, and I do make some money with that. So I do have that kind of income. But YouTube is the thing that I think that I have the most passion for, and it's what I enjoy the most. So if you have a job that you enjoy doing, that is a bonus. Actually, that's the way it should be, right? I think so. But one thing that I do like doing with YouTube is helping people as much as I can and providing a positive feeling for everyone. I just really value positivity in the world. Right now there's so much negativity, and I want to help people feel better. Like, just have more of a positive attitude just by giving them something to watch that is relaxing or entertaining. So that is what I like to do. There are, of course, criticisms that you hear about YouTubers. Some will say, oh, they're just lazy. And it's so easy to do. Just hit record and then upload it to YouTube. The problem with that is one of my videos can take many, many, many hours to do, especially my Let's Plays for Labyrinthum. I can spend up to 100 in-game days doing a single video, which is about 19 hours of gameplay, which is a fair amount. Plus, I have to do all the editing, and that takes a long time as well. Tutorials themselves, even though they may be just 3, 4, 5 minutes long, tutorials take a lot of planning, a lot of research, and a lot of editing. I do a lot of retakes because you often don't get the words right. So you have to do that, right? So if you are doing that kind of content, you have to be precise. You have to have the correct information. You have to make sure that there are no mistakes with it. And they can be sometimes more difficult to do than Let's Plays. At least in my experience, it can be. And of course, this kind of thing can happen. Weather. But yeah, that is the kind of thing you often hear from people. It's like giving a lot of criticism, saying that it's not a real job. But honestly, it is. But I'd like to hear from you. For people who do this for a living, is it a job or is it just a paid hobby? But the funny thing is, a lot of things like artists, some people may consider that just a hobby. But if you do it for a living, if you spend all of your time doing it and then working on selling, you will have to be a salesperson as well. There's so much work. Just a really large amount of work. But let me know what you think. Do you think doing YouTube is a job? Let me know. If you like videos like this and would like to see more, then please consider subscribing to this channel as well as my main one. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.